been running, and then the additional.
And I'd love to and get on there, folks. We'll post some really cool stories, some travel tips, restaurants, more photos.
I'm really excited about this restaurant.
So excited!
So where do we go from Chile after wholesome activities and everything? Where are we headed next?
So then we go, we fly out of Argentinian Patagonia. We fly straight up to Buenos Aires. We spend a couple nights there. And wait for this, because there are 2 amazing restaurants, one of which our man Anthony Bourdain went to, which is Don Julio. And then there's another one called Michigan. I can't necessarily say it correctly, but it's also a I think it's a Michelin star. Oh, Michigan.
The state.
I don't know.
Shaped like a mitten.
It's spelled kind of funny because it has like the GUE on it. So.
And your husband has a little Spanish.
He's fluent
in his back pocket.
He is fluent, which helps me out tremendously. So I could keep drinking while he can continue navigating.
There you go.
So it actually works out great.
So where is that? So you fly up to Buenos Aires.
Yep.
Eat it. What are these restaurants known for? Is it another red meat and kind of potatoes place?
Don Julio is like the oldest steakhouse in it's almost like a tequila. Yeah. Don Julio, right? You think of the tequila, but I think it's the oldest steakhouse in Buenos Aires, and it is like the place to go for steak and red wine.
So cool.
I'm so pumped that we're going to celebrate when we get back from Patagonia with our friends, and then we'll spend a couple nights there sightseeing, check it out. Then we fly to Mendoza, which is the heart of Malbecs. In South America.
So I don't know a lot about
exciting.
A lot. I know a little bit about a lot.
Well,
I don't know a lot about shit.
Kip, the coolest thing is we've hired a driver, a local person to take us both days that we're in Mendoza to some incredible wineries, both that are internationally recognized and locally recognized.
Shout out
to Mendoza.
To you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
And shout out to, I want to give a holler to, I don't even know the driver's name, but that guy's doing
Miguel.
Miguel is doing the Lord's work. Having put up with y'all
so exciting.
when y'all are drunk.
I know. For like 2 full days, he's going to hate us. Although I did make an extra reservation for this restaurant called 1884 in Mendoza so that if we're really obnoxious, we can just take him to dinner.
Look at you. That is so sweetie. Thinking of everybody.
Got him.
So we're going to be drinking a lot of heavy red wines. That does remind me. Don't forget to go find out our friends Vitacol Wine Club. He's going across the world. Obviously, we know that, he's been trying it. He's an old world guy, new world guy. He does everything by the book, the new book, The Natural and the Organic. So go check that out if you're interested in wine clubs. Not everyone will be able to hang out in Mendoza with Carly. It's bullshit.
But we'll tag the wines. Don't you worry.
You can find those, but in the meantime, you can always find a wine club that may be right up your alley. So go check out our boys over at Vitacol. That's VITICOLE.com.
Great.
Those guys got a little wine set. If you can't travel the world, they'll bring the wines to you.
For sure.
Let's dive back into that.
Yes.
I just want to do a seamless plug for our friends.
No, it's great. I love it.
So Mendoza, what do y'all have? Is it just
wine tasting?
So it's like Napa. It's like It's like just doing wine tours and tasting a bunch of wines.
A bunch of
shit up.
Amazing food. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
That's a pro move by you hiring a driver.
Well, I've heard that Argentina also has a pretty strict DUI, and I'm just thinking like we're going to want to sit and drink all day.
Of the 3 countries that you go to, which would be the least inviting jail to go to?
Colombia for sure.
Okay,
Easy
that makes
answer.
sense. I think they have a little bit. They have some stuff going on.
Oh yeah, but you can probably pay off the police there more easily than you could in Argentina.
Man, I would really hope for some diplomatic help.
You'll be my first call, Kip. Don't you worry.
Be like, I don't know. I don't know if that's probably not going to.
No, I probably wouldn't call you. You wouldn't be my one call in prison. But
it's all right. I would have. I'm okay with that. I would go ahead and say anybody that makes me their one call is pretty much fucked.
Yeah, I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't risk it. I love you and all, but I just wouldn't call you. I love you. I'd tell you afterward when I got out.
I'm not saying y'all want to go to jail, but I was just saying that's a pro move with getting a driver.
Be prepared.
Yes, ma'am.
Just prepare yourselves. I think it's really important to still recognize other countries' laws. They're vastly different.
So are y'all taking any weed with y'all? I mean, what's the
great question?
Thank you. Another great question for those keeping it.
You're so full of them, Kip. I mean, I can't keep up with you.
Full of something.
I know. Amen. But on that note, I personally think it's safer to fly with some edibles just because you can mask it with your food and they won't really know. You know, if you put it with some Reese's or some M&Ms, it's, you know, it's potent enough that like the Reese's can overpower some of the weed.
There you go. Be like the dog is chasing after the peanut butter and chocolate.
Exactly.
I did recently notice, and I feel like I've already had this conversation once with you, but when I went over across the pond as well, I noticed that those folks over there were smoking the e-cigs a lot, so you can kind of get away with the vape pen.
Yeah, like a PAX.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to our friends at PAX Vapor. I feel like this is deja vu all over again.
You know, I think it's just being smart. Like I said, when you travel and just be aware of where you're going.
Do you know what the weed scene's like in Argentina or Chile?
Don't.
As you say it?
And I think it's hard because we're so spoiled here. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not expecting to find like purple dope.
Yeah, no, I get you.
That.
I got
but
you.
Like, is it like Jamaican like dirty weed? Like, you know, it's like brownish and like it's got seeds and stems.
I mean,
like what Afro Man sings about, or is it like what Snoop sings about?
I don't know that much about it, but I'm curious myself to see what it entails.
All right. So where are we going? From Mendoza, is that the last stop before y'all coming home?
So we go back to Buenos Aires, and we might take a day trip over to Uruguay. So we'll be sure to tag that in there if we make it there.
The old quad country, or the quad cunts, as I like to call them.
They have some super cool colonial history as well. So I'm excited to kind of share that.
So is it architecture, food, booze, or outdoors that get you like jelly, or get your motor rev the most when you think about the whole trip as a whole, or the whole trip? The whole trip
as a whole.
Yeah, Jesus.
The culture, the food, and the wine really jam me
I feel like people just fucking say culture. Like, come on.
But like, I think the
culture is all inclusive of the four things you just listed.
Yeah.
So is it food is actually the number one?
Oh, food. Yeah, I'm a foodie. I'll be honest with you. I'm a foodie. More than a nice hotel. Like, I could give a shit less about where I stay because as long
you'd
as
rather have a good steak than a good bed, or a good steak than a good Malbec.
I get really upset.
What if you could have all three?
I mean, I plan to at the Four Seasons. Hint.
Shout
But
out.
I have to say, my biggest thing that makes me so upset, like I will cry if I don't have a good dinner. Ask CMac. I mean, there have been times overseas where I've had some of the worst meals, and I'm like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, it can put a damper on it, but oftentimes it kind of reminds, and so I don't mind having shitty food. I eat it all the time. Everything from fucking Crystal Burgers to frozen pizzas.
Mac and cheese. I love mac and
I'll
cheese,
eat that shit up.
Oh.
But our listeners know I'll eat kind of garbage.
Yeah.
So if I don't have a nice one, I feel like that's a great time to kind of find those hole-in-the-wall restaurants after the fact.
Yes.
Is there maybe an outside of comfort zone food that we should be looking out for on the Instagram story? Are you scared to eat anything?
I'm a little scared to eat pig, like pig ears or like pig
snout
intestines.
And cheek is fantastic.
Not really a fan of it, but I have to say I'm super adventurous when it comes to eating. So
don't have anything
something.
There you go.
Try it before you knock it.
Yeah, get out there. I want to see. Okay, so this is what I want to see. I want to see 2 foreign objects that would not usually be cooked in a kitchen in America on a plate while on your trip. So don't think trite doesn't get away. You don't get away with that because we get that at dim sum.
Okay.
So you have to literally get out there
and
You're
really
have
be
to
adventurous.
Eat like a fucking finger of a human or something. Maybe,
no, God, no.
Get some most dangerous game that really jack your shit up.
Oh my gosh, or like blood, like. Blood?
Yeah, drinks. Maybe not some blood.
Gross.
We have some friends that do that, and it's kind of okay. Before we wrap up this episode and this fantastic vacation that is making my mouth salivate, I want to ask you just some kind of quirks, like what's in the bag? What are we taking with us on this trip?
Great question too.
Like, are you worried about mosquitoes? Are we taking like a fly net hat? Like, is it going to be cold? Is it going to be warm? What's in the bag?
As a female,
what's in the box?
What's in there? I have to say, honestly, as a female, I'm a little bit nervous about Zika in the warmer climates, specifically Colombia. So I am protecting with DEET. DEET is a mosquito spray.
Yeah, I meant more like clothes-wise. Is it temperature, climate, things of that nature?
So
I don't really give a shit
Colombia
about what's literally in the bag.
as a whole is 95 degrees right now. So I've got lots of shorts, swimsuits. T-shirts, tank tops, sundresses. And then when we get down to Chile, I've got same thing. The temperature there is like 95, except for Valparaiso, which is like 60s and 70s.
Okay.
So, again,
how many pairs of shoes are we taking?
Oh, damn it. You would ask that question. Okay, let me clarify.
I'm just curious. How many shoes would you pack for a trip like this? Let's say you got a couple different climates, a little bit different terrains.
Yes.
How many pairs of shoes are you overpacking?
Me personally, I have 5 pairs of shoes right now. I have 1 wedge, 2 pairs of flip-flop sandals. I have a mule, and I have 1 trekking shoe.
What the fuck is a mule?
Yes. So a mule is like an open back but closed-toed shoe. It's almost like a closed-toed flip-flop.
Oh, we have tons of friends that wear
like
Crocs.
Kind of like that. But I needed something at night for in Patagonia other than a trekking shoe that still had closed toes. And I still needed my 2 pairs of sandals, a black and a nude. And then for the nice restaurants that we go out to for these Michelin stars, I needed a wedge.
Okay, I could
justify it.
It seems like you've had to already. So,
but let me clarify. When I traveled around the world, I only had 3 pairs of shoes: my Keens, my Solomon sneakers, and a flip-flop.
So are the Keens technically considered a mule because they have a closed toe?
No, because they have a strap back on those, and then they're also like waterproof. So
bullshit semantics you travelers use.
I mean, it gets really difficult.
Well, a little birdie told me to ask you about a certain hat you may have taken to Japan when you went to get married, but you never wore that. So what are the odds that you overpacked this like I feel like every cliche woman does on a vacation?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and wrap up with a good stereotype.
Let's say that I probably overpacked slightly. By that I mean 2 extra pairs of shorts, 1 extra pair of sundress, probably 2 extra pairs of shoes, and maybe 1 extra bathing suit.
Well, at least you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's better to have options.
But my bag still weighs under 50 pounds.
And I guess that's what, I don't know, but it sounds like that's what matters.
It does. And not only that, but if you check out our Instagram with our packing cubes in there, you'll see how easy it is to pack in this awesome Rolling Thunder North Face bag that I've got.
Those are seamless plugs right there. I love it. Well done.
You just got to...
It sounds like you got your ducks in a row and you got a dank-ass trip with full of fire food, fantastic wines, great company, and some gorgeous scenery to boot.
Yes, and I will be tagging a lot of like my outfits for each day, maybe so you can kind of see what I'm rocking that day as far as socks, when we're trekking, things like that as well. And I think one last thing to throw in there is, we
need to make sure that don't forget to give her a good hashtag. I'm telling y'all, alliterations have got to be key here. So we got to find a way to get a good
alliteration. And the most important thing this whole trip is my passport. Everything else is replaceable.
How many stamps do you have in there?
Oh.
Just a ballpark since we're getting a little late.
I've probably got 36.
Oh, shit. That's a lot of stamps. Yeah. And that means that you've been... So you'll tag on 3 more, possibly 4?
Well, so I've also re-entered some of the same countries a few times.
Gotcha.
But yeah, these are going to be some
new ones?
Baller-ass new stamps.
There you go. There you go. Well, guys, don't forget to tune in to the website and the Instagram for the next month. Carly's going to be probably running most of the stories, especially while we're all at work, and she's a couple hours ahead of us. And then don't forget to go, if you like the show, if you like the episode, would you please go on to iTunes, rate and review us. Give us just 5 words. Kip is fantastic. And stuff.
And stuff. The key part.
I don't give a shit. You could be like, Kip sucks, everybody else is fantastic, and I'm still cool with that. Just give us 5 stars in a review.
Follow us. We have so many cool things this holiday season between our music, our local restaurants in Denver, not just internationally, but there's so many fun things that we have planned, and it's so fun at the holidays to just kind of see what other people are doing.
Yeah, in fact, let's talk about that. You were, before we roll out, we want to give a shout out to our friends at the Botanical Gardens. That was you on the Instagram page the other day.
Oh my gosh.
Those tickets are sold out for the season, so rub it in real quick for all the people that aren't able to snag weekend ticks.
Amazing. I have to admit, I love going to the Blossoms of Light every year. It's something that I'm really into. My hub's just got a new camera, so I can't wait for you guys to also see pics from that. But he used his camera at the lights, and I loved it. Of course, my favorite part at the end is in the green area when you make certain noises, and it's all sort of sound effects after what you're screaming. It kind of
I smell what you're stepping in.
The lights go, which is super, super cool. I highly recommend it. Next year, if you guys get the opportunity, buy your tickets early. It's 100% worth it.
Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah. And that's the same for plane tickets. It seems that Carly's going to test those limits.
Yes.
But y'all don't forget to go tune in to the podcast and the Instagram.
Yeah.
You'll be able to catch up with all of Carly's adventures for the next month.
So excited.
And we want to give a shout out real quick to, I know we tried to mention most of our sponsors, but our local ones, we want to definitely shout out REI for getting her set up. She obviously, and all the fixings from airport liners.